All right, guys, today we're going to look at Master of Command. I've been watching this for the last year, watching it grow and develop. Armchair Historian, the developer, is a really, really cool guy. If you don't know him already, highly recommend you check him out. His YouTube channel, his own website as well. He's got really brilliant history style documentary videos, very informative, very engaging, and he's just a really nice guy. Honestly, I've been talking to him in the background about the games he's been developing, Fire and Maneuver when that first started, and as its kind of development life cycle progressed, I gave a lot of feedback for that, and obviously made lots of videos about that as well. And now Master of Command is his next kind of foray into game development, and I've watched it grow again, kind of in a similar way, and I'm really blown away by how interesting and engaging the campaign has developed into, and of course the battle side of things as well. And that's what we're going to get into today. He's been doing these devlogs about how development has been progressing, and this devlog, number 9 out of a total 10, by the way, that will be coming out, is purely about the battles and how we've gone. He's developed from 2D battles to 3D battles that honestly look absolutely amazing. I'm really impressed by how things are going. So that's what we're going to do today. Let's dive straight in. Starting from the top, then, what I want to say first is, throughout this video, if you see things that you're really interested in and you want to check it out yourself when the game releases, I highly suggest you wishlist it on Steam. I'll drop a link to this page in the video description, but that is essentially the best way to keep up to date with everything that's going on in this game and to support the game. Wishlisting it goes a long way on Steam to kind of helping a game get that visibility, popularity, and make it as successful as possible when it releases. So that's the best thing you can do. There is a brilliant kind of dynamic campaign, like I said, that is making a lot of progress. What I want to focus on today, though, is this dev blog and the battles. As you can see, it used to be 2D battling, and now it is 3D battling, and that makes a huge difference in terms of the scale of the battles, the battlefields, the number of individual soldiers per unit, because that obviously is growing as well. It looks really, really good, much more realistic and grounded compared to the 2D kind of visuals and your perspective 2D as well. Obviously, the camera is very different now as well in 2D battlefields. Camera is very restricted, very limited, not a lot of mobility and utility here. Whereas in the 3D version, you can see, you're panning, you're scrolling, you're zooming in, zooming out. You get a lot more accessibility into what's going on in the battles when it's 3D. It's a huge difference. Honestly, I've been talking to Armchair Historian in the background over the years about especially his game Fire and Maneuver, feeding back on how I think that could be a little bit better, affirming certain decisions he was making and challenging others. Same thing here in Master of Command, but I had no idea this was even possible to go from 2D to 3D, and the impact it has here is immense. I mean, the units look much more alive. You've got the kind of animations going on. You've got sound effects as well. Actually, let me just turn the sound on here.
Help to make you feel like you're on the ground with your
Oh, he doesn't actually play the sound here.
the music
Here we go.
firing sounds now.
Like, that is really, really good. And there's actually really custom made music in the game now as well. So you'll be able to hear, for example, beautiful, interesting custom music per essentially the faction, or even more granularly than that, the units that you're commanding. You can zoom in to particular units and hear the different styles and songs of music that they're playing as well. That is just absolutely amazing. And it's not just music, it's not just sound effects. 3D battling enables a lot more animations, reload animations, movement animations, all of that, death animations, like everything. There's a huge difference from that perspective as well compared to 2D battling, and it looks absolutely amazing as well. And you've got this really cool, realistic kind of smoke effect. You've got the volleys of fire, firing at the distance, the effects, the impact of the cannonball fireballs on the ground here. Everything just looks much, much better than I ever imagined for this game. And then the video obviously goes into a few other big changes that have happened in the game since the last time I covered it. We've got a new menu, which looks quite cool, much more animative and engaging. I quite like it, actually. A lot more kind of going on here than you kind of first meets the eye, I feel like, which is quite cool. There's also a bit more about how the campaign is looking, changing up regimental colors and, being really customizable when it comes to emblems and, who your various kind of division leaders are, what their flags look like, what items they have. There's a lot of item slots here compared to the last time I saw all of this. And this is kind of the headquarters view, I think, of your camp. And it looks really, really quite cool. Lot more developed than the last time I had a look. Menu, and then you've got a bit more of a look at the campaign, which again is looking much more detailed compared to the last time as well. You've got various kind of decisions that you can make depending on where in the map you've decided to invade, who you're raiding, what kind of rewards you might get if you are successful in your mission. It looks just much more kind of considered and planned out in terms of the campaign layer as well, which is really cool. Much more kind of reminiscent a little bit of Age of Empires in terms of how you can move around into different missions, different flashpoints, what kind of rewards you can get maybe, and how all of that kind of gets even more granular as you move towards the headquarters, how you're recruiting and what kind of items you've got. And then, of course, even more granular into how the campaign works, moving around the map into different areas and meeting AI armies and different challenges in that way as well. And then the video goes into a really, really interesting, I didn't expect this either, area of the game, which is kind of sort of like Total War Warhammer 3 or how Total War does really specialized elite units. There's a lot more of that happening in Master of Command as well. So I think, as I understand it, there are up to 50 new regiments, essentially divisions, units of renown that were historically significant. They've got very unique, interesting names, and I suppose you get to maybe kind of recruit them every now and then depending on events, or maybe if you're in a certain area of the map and they come up and you can recruit them, or maybe you get them after defeating a specific army or something like that. But either way, so there are lots of here regiments of renown, essentially. Depending on the faction, there are loads as well. So he goes through Prussia's renowned units, Britain's, obviously we can see here, really, really cool Royal Welsh Fusiliers and, Hanoverian Foot Guards. Like, there's a lot of variety here. Their uniforms, flags. I'm sure the music that they play as well varies depending on the unit, maybe where in the battles they are, what they're going through, what's happening. Maybe there are more kind of inspirational songs versus kind of more kind of in the moment, heady, tense songs as well. I have no idea. I'm very excited to see kind of the variety in terms of music unit to unit as well. But yeah, as you can see here, essentially, there's a lot of interesting, really cool units here to get into that makes it even more kind of immersive and personal. These units don't come every day, and when they do, you want to protect them. You want them to stay alive, and they're probably a lot more effective, obviously, on the battlefield as well compared to your average Joe unit. So there's some really cool things here. And yeah, like I said, Russia's renowned units, Austria's renowned units as well. France has a lot more units that they've clearly been working on too. It's a very kind of the era, obviously, sees a lot of French success. So there's some really interesting potential here from a French renowned units perspective as well. But yeah, that's essentially kind of everything that the video goes through. The primary point I wanted to make was how Empire 2 is something a lot of Total War people, players, hope for in the future. But there have been games here and there that have scratched that itch for me. There's Ultimate General, that series, American Revolution, even though it's been kind of abandoned now, unfortunately, due to circumstances I'm going to get into in a separate video. It was a very interesting iteration of what an Empire 2 might be like as a competitor, what an indie developer can do, and take that idea and make it something interesting, challenging. It was a very difficult game, I thought, but there were some really cool ideas there. And this is the same kind of thing. Master of Command, I think, has a lot going for it in terms of, the campaign that's very dynamic, a really interesting gameplay loop, and battles that are now looking much more interesting, I think, especially to the average Total War player, in terms of visuals, mechanical kind of accessibility, UI, camera, the types of units you can get access to, how you are kind of a caretaker, and developing these units in every kind of way, flag, emblem, items, music. There's a lot of personality here. I think that wasn't as there before. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to see what the future of Master of Command holds, and I think it's looking really, really bright. And then finally, before signing off, I just wanted to touch on what the campaign is looking like right now. There's been some really nice kind of development on this side of the game as well. It looks really quite interesting, and there are cutscenes now which weren't there before, kind of scripted, animated, in kind of the classic Armchair Historian style, which I just love. I love that cutscenes are here because they used to be in Total War a lot more, and then they got removed. They got phased out pretty much, almost completely. So to have them here a bit more in Master of Command is really cool. I love cutscenes. It adds so much more flavor to a strategy game. Gives you a lot more kind of your personal involvement and motivation, the context to what really is happening, and making you feel a lot more of a part of it. And you get to see the procedural campaign, how that works from an event perspective, the decisions that you're making, potential to get more supplies or experience or units of different types, or inventory, weapons, ammo, cannons, all that jazz. And it's not just a straight up you get these things and it's great. You're getting for free, whatever. You have to sacrifice things. So there's a lot more kind of going into how you make your decisions and what you're kind of giving up, the consequences of those decisions, right? And then you get into the campaign. It starts, and you essentially have to move around. You pick a flashpoint to enter with your army, whether it's an invasion or raiding or supply gathering, etc. You pick the divisions that you want to take on this campaign, and you essentially move around. You're moving around these little flashpoints. You're meeting towns of different varieties, historical towns as well. These aren't just willy-nilly, and they have good context to them. They provide various things. You may want to go this way to avoid an enemy army because you saw the scout, or you want to go into a town. Wow, actually, they've even gone even more granular into the town to show different buildings that you can interact with. That's really cool. So yeah, there's just so much more going on here in these campaign layers as well that are much more interesting, giving you a lot more kind of variety in terms of what you can engage with, what you can buy, sell, who you're talking to, how this adds to your armies, your experience. There are, various levels in terms of how your generals can develop as well, what kind of units you can recruit. So there's a lot more going on now in Master of Command that excites me. So yeah, I would say overall, Master of Command has really come a long, long way since the first time it was announced last year, whether it's the campaign layer, as you can see, with, various interesting flashpoints, dilemmas, decisions to be made. The map itself looks really good. The layering of how all of these kind of mechanics and, bits and bobs that you need to engage with to really customize your units and engage with them, make them personal, give them personality. All of that looks much crisper and cleaner and interesting as well. And the battles look really, really good. I mean, going from 2D to 3D battles is a huge difference here. It's insane, actually insane. I had no idea this was possible. And now that it's done, I think it's made a massive difference. I think a lot more people are going to be interested in this. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you did, give it a like, drop any thoughts or questions in the comments section below, as always, and let me know what you think about Master of Command if you're going to be wish listing it yourself. Like I said, all of the links, the YouTube channel, the Discord, the Steam page, Armchair Historian's YouTube, and his website as well, all that is going to be in the video description if you want to check it out. And yeah, please do. I think it's very much worth considering and having a look at. There's some really good stuff going on here. So yeah, that's it. Subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this, and thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.